I've worked as a police dispatcher for almost 12 years now, and I can tell you this job changes your brain. You start hearing things the average person will never understand, fear hidden under breath, lies hiding behind silence, and the exact moment a person realizes they're about to die. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared me for the night I received a distress call from an officer who had already been dead for 3 hours. Some nights, even now, I still hear his voice when I close my eyes. And every time I do, I hear that same static, that same choking breath, that same impossible message that still haunts our department. My shift started exactly at 10 p.m. Winter storms had been rolling in since afternoon, so calls were slow. The snow was coming down in thick sheets, the type that silences everything outside. We had 2 officers patrolling the south end of town, and 3 covering the northern perimeter. One of them was Officer Daniel Harper, 45, calm, level-headed, someone who didn't scare easily. I remember telling him to drive safe as he checked in. He laughed and said, "If anything happens, you'll be the first to know." The strange part is, he was right. The official report says he died at 12:17 a.m. His unit crashed into a ravine off County Road 9. No skid marks. No attempt to brake. Just full speed into darkness. The coroner said he died on impact, instantly. No chance of survival. And yet, the call I received came at 3:08 a.m. 3 full hours later, the first thing I noticed was the sound. It wasn't a normal radio click, not the sharp digital beep we hear when an officer presses their shoulder mic. No, this one dragged in like someone forcing the connection open. A long, low-frequency hum filled the headset, followed by a faint snowfall of static. I thought it was interference from the storm, so I ignored it. But then a voice pushed through the noise, soft at first, like someone whispering underwater. "Dispatch." The breath caught in my throat. It wasn't just any voice, it was Harper. I'd spoken to him 100 times. I knew the cadence, the tone, the way he dragged certain vowels. It was him. No question that I sat up straight and answered automatically, "Unit 23, go ahead." There was a delay. A strange one. Not the usual half-second radio lag. This one felt slow, broken, like the voice had to travel from somewhere far beyond the county line. When the voice finally came back, it sounded strained. "Need assistance, something's out here." I frowned and checked the unit tracker. Harper's car was showing offline. Completely offline. Not lost signal. Not low battery. Offline. As if the system didn't even recognize the device anymore. I asked him to repeat the message, thinking maybe another officer was using Harper's radio by mistake. But the reply made every hair on my neck rise. "It followed me," he whispered. "Don't let it leave." I felt my pulse spike. Leave? Leave where? What was he talking about? And then, beneath his voice, I heard something else. Something moving. Slow. Heavy. Wet. Like someone dragging a water-soaked tarp across concrete. I turned up the volume, bringing the sound right into my ear canal. "Unit 23, confirm your location," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Again, no response for several seconds. And then, "I'm still in the car." My stomach dropped. Still in the car? His car had already been towed from the ravine hours earlier. I leaned back in my chair, suddenly freezing cold. "Unit 23, I said carefully, "who is with you?" Static swallowed the line. Then, "It sees me." The voice didn't sound like Harper anymore. Or maybe it did, but drained of life, hollow, like it was coming from the bottom of a cave. Before I could answer, I heard a metallic scraping sound. Something clawing against the vehicle, then the screaming began, but it wasn't the scream of a living man. No. This was distorted, doubled, like 2 versions of the same scream layered atop each other, one human, one not. I yanked off the headset, but I could still hear it faintly through the speakers. Every dispatcher turned toward me as I scrambled to respond, but before I could speak, the radio cut out. Dead silence. I immediately dispatched 2 units to the coordinates of Harper's last recorded patrol route, even though his crash had been miles from there. Something didn't make sense. Something felt deliberately wrong. Officers Becker and Ruiz arrived at County Road 9 at 3:21 a.m. They reported no vehicles, no lights, nothing unusual. But Becker's voice was trembling when he radioed back. "Dispatch, you hearing this?" I turned the volume up, through their open patrol car mic. came the same dragging sound I had heard earlier. Slow. Wet. Heavy, Ruiz whispered. It's on the road. Becker added, I see footprints. Bare human footprints. But, they're steaming. In the snow. I told them to fall back to the vehicle. No investigation. No visual contact. Just leave. Ruiz whispered, dispatch, someone's breathing behind us. I shouted into the mic for them to get in the car, now. But the radio didn't respond. Instead, the sound doubled again, like two radios transmitting the same thing out of sync. Then a voice came through, not Becker. Not Ruiz. Not living, dispatch, it said slowly, stretching the word in a way human vocal cords can't. You shouldn't have sent them. I froze. It was Harper's voice again, but dragged, like the vocal tone was being mimicked, not spoken. Ruiz started yelling in the background, go, go, go. Their unit engine roared on, tires spinning over the snow. The creature, whatever it was, let out a sound I still can't describe. Something between a gurgle, a growl, and a human choking. Then everything cut to static. Their car signal vanished from the tracker. I felt like I was drowning. Panic, guilt, fear, it all blended together. I kept calling their unit number again and again, but the line was dead. Completely dead. 30 minutes later, their patrol vehicle was found abandoned 2 miles south, doors open, engine still running. Becker and Ruiz were found walking the road in opposite directions, dazed, frostbitten, and repeating the same phrase, he wasn't alone in the car. They never explained it further. They were hospitalized for shock and neither of them returned to duty. The department ruled the entire event as radio interference and stress-induced hallucination. They had to. Nothing else made sense on paper. But I know what I heard. What I still hear. Because the story didn't end that night. No, not even close. For the next 3 nights, at exactly 3:08 a.m., Harper's radio ID, Unit 23, reappeared in the system. A faint beacon. A ghost signal. We shouldn't have been able to receive anything. His device had been destroyed in the crash. But the signal stayed for 5 minutes each night. 5 minutes of dead air that felt like someone, or something, was waiting for us to answer. On the 4th night, curiosity got the better of me. Against every regulation we're taught, I pressed the transmit button and whispered, Harper, if you can hear me, what do you want? The reply came instantly, don't let it leave. The same words as before. And then another voice joined his. This one soft. Feminine. Farther away. It's not him. The transmission ended with a distorted thud. Like something heavy dropped onto metal, the signal never appeared again. A week later, a mechanic working on Harper's totaled patrol unit found deep scratches inside the interior door panel. Not on the outside. On the inside. The coroner changed his report afterward. They removed the instant death statement. And the car was sealed for federal review. People ask why I still work night shifts after everything I experienced. Why I haven't quit. The truth is, I can't. Something is still out there. Something using dead voices to call for help. Something that knows how to mimic fear, mimic pain, mimic human words. And I'm terrified that one day, it's going to decide it no longer needs a radio to speak. Last night, as I walked to my car after shift, I heard static crackle behind me. Soft. Polite. Familiar. I didn't turn around. I didn't breathe. I just got in my car and drove. When I pulled out of the lot, my radio, my personal, civilian radio, lit up for half a second. A single phrase came through, spoken in Harper's voice but in a tone that wasn't his anymore. You're next to answer. I don't know what that thing wants. I don't know why it pretends to be him, but I know this. If it ever calls you, don't respond, because once you answer, it learns your voice too.